just going to do a quick film running through the double exposure on the Pixlr app. I'm going to open Pixlr, and in Pixlr I've got photographs. I'm going to pick my first photograph from my gallery. Okay, so I'm actually going to pick these pair of lips. Okay, down here I've got my toolbox, and in my toolbox is where I will find a double exposure tool. I go into the double exposure, and this allows me to add another photo. So I'm going to add another photograph from my gallery. Okay, this time I'm going to add perhaps this flower here. Okay, now you can see the flower sitting on top of the lips. Now I want the flower to be in full colour, and I want it to be on top of the lips inside the open mouth. Okay, now I can change the transparency if I wanted to, but for this one I don't want it to be translucent at all. But to get it the right size, I'm actually going to make it a little bit transparent so I can see the lips underneath, so I can make the flower the right size for the place that I want to put it, and I know that's in the middle then as well. Okay, so that just helps me do it. I'm going to take the transparency off, and this is where I want to erase the background. Alright, so I'm going to go into my rubber. My rubber, I can choose the size, and I can choose a feathery edge if I want to as well. It gives it a softer edge. I'm going to make it quite small because it's quite a difficult flower to cut out, okay, to erase the background. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, okay, so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to use my finger to, absolutely huge, take down the size a little bit more. You can see I've got a much smaller rubber now, and I can get in to the leaves and take those off around the petals. I'm going to do this quite quickly. You will take much more care. Okay, I'm going to zoom out, see how I'm doing. So I'm going to take out the majority, take more care out of that. Okay, so there I've got a fully exposed flower, fully exposed lips. Okay, I'm happy with that, and I press done. Okay, now then, if I wanted to add a third photograph to that, so I wanted to add a background, I would just tick that I'm happy with the two of them at the moment. So I'm going to tick that. Okay, now I don't want to do done yet because I want to add another photo. So I've got the toolbox has appeared. I can go back into the toolbox, and I can choose double exposure, which will allow me to add another photo. I'll go into my gallery, and I'll go into my favourites, and I quite like this texture here, might work quite well in the background, so I'm going to go to that texture there. Okay, I'm going to reduce the transparency so I can see the lips starting to appear. Okay, so I quite like that, and again I can see the lips at the same time, so that helps me when I'm rubbing out if I just take the translucency down. Okay, so I'm going to use my rubber again so my lips will appear. I'm going to rub out the texture from that third photograph off of the lips and the flower, so that that texture is just in the background. Okay, I'm happy with the rubbing out. I then can increase my texture and the colour of my texture. If I wanted to have a look at any of the effects, I could do something and make it pink. It's opposite on the colour wheel, but this will give me, I quite like that actually, soft light, that's quite nice. So I like that as a composition. I'm going to tick yes. If I'm done with my picture, I will click done, and then I'll be able to save image. There is advertising, just click off it, it's absolutely fine. Okay, and that's my image saved.